It was such a tremendous performance.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Nation News Touchline Report, brought to you by Stag Bear. Stag Bear, it's a vibe. My name is Nick. This is Anmar. We're here to dissect the action of the Men's Republic Cup and the Women's Super League. We had a lot of action this past weekend. Quarter-final action. The final four are set, and the final two for the Women's Super League are set. So we're going to just dive right into it and talk about the action. On Saturday at the Wildy Turf, we had some rain. It was raining cats and dogs on Saturday, but nevertheless, Ellerton marched on to the final four with a 3-2 victory over Clayton's Colatonic Notre Dame after extra time, and the winner was scored by their captain, Shaquille Bell. AGB, I'm not sure if you were at the turf on Saturday. First of all, welcome to the show. And on Saturday, let me just tell you, Shaquille Bell, he scored the first goal. You saw that bullet free kick from him?
Yeah.
Ooh,
so
wow.
Thank you so much for having me back on the show, Nick. It's always a pleasure to be here chatting with you. Yes, we jumped right into the action on Saturday. A thunderous free kick from Shaquille Bell. Absolutely what the doctor ordered for Ellerton. Ellerton, the favourites going into this game versus Dames. Dames would have played a good set of football as well, decent style. But Ellerton, we always talk about Ellerton being that community-based team.
Yeah.
I was chatting to the vice president of the Barbados Football Association last weekend, and he was telling me he describes Ellerton as the youngest, oldest team in the tournament. You know, it is a team that have been playing well together. All of these boys based in that St. George community, they come up together. It's a close-knit team, and we see Ellerton marching on. Obviously, compliments their captain, Shaquille Bell, who's definitely the talisman for Ellerton in this tournament.
Top guy, Shaquille Bell. And the second goal, 2-0. They went 2-0 up through Shane Codrington. You know, they call him Cappy. He's the big man at the back. He scored from a corner in the 51st minute. Antoine Pookie Graves, I saw him on the road yesterday. So my hard luck, man. She's on. But he scored a penalty to make it 2-1 to Dames. And then Mitcham President scored from a corner kick, to make it 2-2. And then a rebound was scored in the 108th minute by Shaquille Bell to give Ellerton the victory. And Ellerton, still my favourites. Still my favourites because they've been playing great football, but Dames certainly ran them close.
Yeah.
Then the game of the night. I know you were here for sure. You were there for that game. Paradise prevailing after extra time against UE Blackbirds. 10-man UE Blackbirds. Paradise winning 4-3. 118th minute, the winner was scored in by Akil Appaway. I thought he was magnificent against UE Blackbirds. AGB, how do you see that game?
Well, Nick mentioned this as the game of the night. I think that perhaps is the game of the Republic Cup so far. You mentioned me being there on Saturday night. I can tell you what, this game had so many turns and twists. It was incredible. Paradise took the lead through a very good header from Tariq Bailey-Edwards.
Yes.
He obviously would have been a Barbados under-20 national football player, centre-half. So he rose to the occasion, sending Paradise ahead. And then UE, what I was very impressed with from this UWI Blackbirds team, coached by Fabian Masai, they had an answer for everything that the Paradise team brought to them. Paradise team, we saw a different shape from them. Zico Phillips, the normal centre-half, he was actually benched for this game.
He was,
And Nikolai Braffett, an interesting tactic from Kent Hall, who's the coach there. Nikolai Braffett was deployed at centre-half. I was having a number of conversations with some of the players around the Paradise team, and they're telling me that it was a gut feeling, just a change of tactics from Coach Kent at that point in time. It seemed to work. Paradise winning this game. Like I mentioned, UE had an answer for everything that Paradise threw at them. Paradise taking the lead 3-2. Akil Appaway. Let's talk about him, Nick. He was absolutely brilliant on the night. Akil Appaway scoring twice. Scoring that goal, the crucial goal to make it 3-2. The rains came down at the Wildy Turf, Nick. And I can tell you, I will admit that I was one of the spectators
who left
on the far side, who left as the rains came thundering out, as Akil Appaway scored what we thought at the moment was the winner to make the game 3-2. A number of fans made for the exit, like myself. And then as soon as we got outside, you know, we heard the commotion. We heard some of the fans who remained inside the facility jumping and screaming. And then, you know, we got the news. I remember it. You rang my phone.
Yes, I did.
You rang my phone and said, "Hey, mate, you still here?" I said, "Well, I'm on the outside going out." and you say, listen, you need to get back in because UWI have just scored,
Man, get
we
extra
just
time.
equalized, and we're going to extra time. And I
goodness.
cannot believe it. Could not believe it, Nick. Akil Apawit, 118 minutes. He scored the winner and well-deserved win. I think it was hard for UWI. I think it is one of those games that you would love if both teams can share a point. But obviously, this is knockout football. Somebody has to go home. Yeah. Somebody has to advance. And congratulations for Paradise for sticking in there, showing their experience, showing their composure. And Akil Apawit delivering the goods when Paradise needed that win most importantly. So congratulations to them. Paradise move on. And UW Blackbirds must not be feeling very hard done by. I think that they can, give themselves a pat on the back. They've been excellent so far this tournament, but, they just butt up with, a better Paradise team on the day, and Paradise advanced.
Paradise definitely showed more quality on the day, I would say, and UWI, they were very diligent in their tactical plans. Yeah. But I think that, especially going down to 10 men late in the second half, just before the 3-3 equalizer even, I think that really affected the game, especially in extra time where the rain just poured and the place was waterlogged and you couldn't even see, you couldn't pass the ball. Yeah. So we thought the game was destined for penalties, but then a nice chip into the box, Mario Hart chests it down, and Apple, he has a wand of a left foot, and he just smacked it into the back of the net. So great result for Paradise, and now I think their biggest test will be against Ellerton in the semi-finals. We also had a women's game. UWI women, they defeated RF Prime 4-1. 2 goals from Rihanna Cyrus, another 2 for Shanae Stevenson. Those girls are fighting for the top scorer award, but I think Cyrus is going to run away with it. She's probably going to get MVP as well. And with good reason. I think we have to consider her the best female player in the island right now, based on how she's dominating the Women's Super League. Now, AGB, this is your time to shine. Sunday, Sunday was my rest day, so I wasn't at football, unfortunately. But AGB was there taking in all the action. So let's talk about the first game of the night. Wharton defeating Deacons 2-1. I remember I didn't really have much faith in Deacons, unfortunately, because they would have been missing their talisman, Keon Atkins. But they still ran Wharton a little close, even though they lost 2-1.
Well, Nick, you mentioned Sunday being your rest day, but I think after the events you had this weekend, you had no choice but to rest on Sunday. So I think
no comment on that. But yeah, we're talking football now. So yeah, Wharton 2-1, Deacons, 2 community-based teams. Yeah. So let's talk about football and not about my business.
Yes. Back to the game. Wharton versus Deacons. Wharton taking the 1-0 advantage in that game. Going up, as you mentioned, Wharton was your favorite. So I actually thought that Deacons would prevail, despite not having their captain, Keon Atkins, who was out due to suspension, obviously picking up a red card, a straight red in his last encounter. But I thought that Deacons, still having the likes of Stefan Eiffel, still having the likes of Justin Cox, and still having the likes of
Kavian Innes,
and stuff like that. Those type of players. I still thought that Deacons could prevail. But unfortunately, they weren't able to go ahead. Deacons, they did half the deficit, equalizing in the 54th minute. So whatever the manager told them at halftime, it definitely worked. But Kemar John, former Barbados under-20 national footballer, he's a player that I like. He's a player that, I think he can go on and do well and do wonders if given the time, if given the chance to play for Barbados in the future. He delivered the winner to propel Wharton into the semi-final, and well-deserved from Wharton as well. It was a game where both teams lacked in terms of the defense, a bit of sloppy defending from both teams. So in the end, Kemar John, he was able to capitalize, and well done to him, and well done to Wharton. They march on to the semi-finals of the Barbados Football Association's Republic Cup, Nick. But that was only the first game of the night.
And they will be in the semi-finals against Weymouth Wales, the perennial Premier League champions of Barbados. And Wales got a big victory over Pride of God Hill in the quarterfinals. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So it is the second time for the Barbados Football Association Republic Cup that Weymouth Wales have scored 7 goals. Wow. I was checking through my statistics, checking through my information today just before we came on air, and Weymouth Wales have actually scored over 40 goals for this tournament so far. I think they are the tournament's leading team in terms of goal scorers, so kudos to them. But yes, it was a very strange night though. It started that way. Weymouth Wales, for the first time in this competition, were trailing. Imagine that.
Wow. What type of goal did Gohill score?
So this is what happened. Wales were playing a very high line in the initial stages, allowing Pride of Gohill to get in behind. And I don't know what Kishmar Primus was thinking. The Barbados senior men's national goalkeeper.
National number 1.
He was off of his line, allowing the ball, which took a deflection. The ball was played through the midfield. It took a deflection and it fell gently into the path of the striker, who, he just surged past the advancing Primus and took the ball into the back of the net. And I can tell you what, Nick, that silenced the fans at the Bloody Turf.
Imagine it.
It was a stunning atmosphere. The Weymouth Vale spectators could not believe their eyes. Primus, it was a holer from him. But what I can tell you is that Weymouth Vales, they showed the experience. Obviously, they have a core of Barbados senior men's national footballers, so they, stayed calm, kept their composure, and replied 7 goals unattended. What I must say, though, is that you must give credit for the goalkeeper from Pride of Gohill. He made some fantastic saves, denying Kimar Headley twice in the space of 10 minutes. Really keeping his team alive. But, unfortunately, he had to cut out. He had to run out in terms of those saves. Weymouth Vales kept knocking on the door, and eventually it opened. But Mario Herwood, he scored a hat-trick again. He's been brilliant this Republic Cup, scoring so many goals. Kimar Headley again was also on the score sheet. And kudos must be given to Ray Snide, the second half substitute, who came on and scored a brace for Weymouth Vales. Weymouth Vales still continue to be the favourites of this tournament, Nick, and I'm not sure I see many teams stopping them now.
Well, especially with Herwood in the form that he's in, Kimar Headley as well. These guys seem unstoppable. And even though they've had some issues regarding their training sessions and finding some place to train, the quality, form is temporary, class is permanent. And these guys are really displaying their class in this competition. So against Wharton now in the semi-finals, that is an almighty effort needed from Wharton to get past Wales. But their togetherness and good team spirit, I think, can help them against Wales. But Wales also have the team spirit, also have the experience and the depth of quality. So that's a big semi-final. So we have 2, Wales and Wharton, and Ellerton and Paradise. Exciting football coming up for you this weekend. Also in women's play, Fitzvillage women, they won 4-3 on penalties against Kickstar. Our good friend Rhea Holder, she was in bars. She actually
made a lovely save.
I saw on the IG, I saw that she made a nice save as well. We could probably put it in the show for you so that you can see her save. But brilliant from Rhea, and we hope to have her on the show sometime soon. Maybe when she is champion of Women's Super League, but they have to get past UE Women in the final. I think that final will be coming out on the same day as the men's final, which will be November 13th.
Also interesting to note, Nick, is that Shantae Padmore also played in that game. And we also had the likes of Keenel Johnson as well. So we saw a number of women footballers, the women national team, playing in that game as well, which is lovely to see.
Indeed. So we hope that the women can also have a regular league restarted when the men's league restarts sometime next year and continue their development in the game. When we come back to Touchline Report, we'll talk about the Players of the Week and some special news for you. And we're back with the Nation News Touchline Report, brought to you by Stag Bear. Stag Bear, it's a vibe. And certainly they had a few footballers who put on a good vibe this weekend. And so we're talking about the Men's Player of the Week and the Women's Player of the Week. First of all, the men's. Who is it, AGB?
Yeah, so you mentioned we had some exciting football, but my Player of the Week for the men's will be Akil Apawit. I think he scored 2 crucial goals when Paradise needed them most, scoring that go-ahead goal for 3-2. Very exciting times. Like I mentioned, fans were on their way out of the venue when UWI equalized, and then Apawit then coming back and scoring the winner in the 180th minute. Congratulations to him. He is the Player of the Week for this week.
Well done, Akil Apawit. And for the women, I think that it's only fitting that we give it once again to Rihanna Cyrus, because she set UE on their way in their semi-final against RF Prime. RF Prime did well, Carisha Catlin scored from the penalty spot, but I think that Rihanna Cyber, she's just been a menace all season, very difficult to deal with. And of course, she is our Women's Player of the Week for yet another week in the Women's Super League. So, who will be your winners this weekend? First, AGB, Ellerton, Paradise. Call a score.
I'm going to go with, this is a tough one, Nick. I like both of these teams, but I think that perhaps Paradise may win it this time around. I think we're going to see extra time and possibly penalties for this one. It is the semi-final. Nobody will want to lose this game. I think both teams will be very cautious in terms of how they approach this encounter, how they take to the field. So I see this one going the full distance, and I think that Paradise may just edge Ellerton and go into penalties and winning 4-3 on penalties.
Wow, very specific score you gave us there. Ellerton and Paradise, two teams that I have a great affinity for, but I'm going to go with Ellerton just because they play such attractive football, quality off the bench, and I think as a team they're playing better than Paradise are. Armando Sugar-Lashley, he came off prematurely on the other day in their quarterfinal, so I think he's not really in the best form. Mario Hart up top, he's been starved for the ball in recent games as well. So I think Ellerton, their all-round game, should get them into the final, another final of a BFA competition.
Yeah.
What about Wotton and Wales? I think this seems more straightforward to me.
Yeah, I think Wales will definitely be marching into yet another final of domestic football. I am seeing Wales winning by 5-0. I think Wotton are up against a mammoth task here to defeat. They will have a mountain to climb, in my opinion, in terms of trying to beat this Weymouth Wales team who've been playing excellently. I mentioned scoring close to 40 goals so far for the tournament, and I don't see that stopping at this stage. So I think Weymouth Wales, Paradise, that's the final that I'm going to go with.
Okay. Well, I think Weymouth Wales against Wotton. I wouldn't say 5, though. I wouldn't diss Wotton, so especially as a Christchurch man. But I'll say Wales 3-1 Wotton, because I think Wotton can get on the score sheet. But Wales, I think they have too much firepower to be stopped at this point in time, especially with 30 grand just in your headlights like that.
So if your prediction is right, then Nick, we will see a rematch of the 2019 Capelli Cup Super League final.
True, and I think that Ellerton, if they get to the final again against Wales, they'll be telling themselves, listen, we can't go like we did the last time. Because remember in the Capelli Cup, it was a late Hayden Holligan goal that condemned Ellerton to defeat. And I think that they really went toe-to-toe with Wales on that occasion. And I think this Wales team is not as good as that Wales team on that occasion as well, 3 years ago. So I think Ellerton could pull off something if they get to the final against Wales. But we will wait and see. What about the women? We can't go without speaking about the women. UE Women versus Fitzvillage. Again, too much firepower for UE Women. I see them winning that final 2-0 over Fitzvillage.
Yeah, I see UE winning as well. I'm going to go with 1-0. Yeah.
So, I mean, when you get down to this time of competition, you have to make your predictions. And of course, in the comments, whether on IG or YouTube, you can also make your predictions. I don't think you're winning anything.
I'm not sure.
Well, I don't think so. But you can make your predictions and let us know what you think will happen in the semi-finals this weekend. And so we've dissected all the football, so all that's left is for all of us, to come out to the Wildy Turf on Saturday and Sunday for these big semi-finals. Once again, Wales versus Wotton and Ellerton versus Paradise. Any big news, any final news from you, AGB?
Yes, Nick. This will be my final episode doing the Nation News Touchline Report. So first of all, thank you. It has been a pleasure working here. It has been a pleasure producing these episodes for you every Wednesday. And I'm definitely going to miss it. I remember we started this show last year when the Barbados Senior Men's National Football Team was going off to play Panama in their first World Cup qualifying game. So I remember when we conceptualized this.
The name and everything.
The Touchline Report. So I'm definitely sad to be going. But I definitely want to say that I express my gratitude and appreciation to the management and the staff of the Nation Publishing Company for making sure that this show was a reality. So, and for me personally, fulfilling those dreams of becoming a sports reporter and becoming the voice of the voiceless. So thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, AGB. This show will not be the same without you, but you've been a great sports lead, providing everything you need. So all we can tell you now is Godspeed. On behalf of Maitland and AGB for the final time, it's goodbye and see you later.